What's going on, guys? If you don't know me, my name is K2 or Kaden, and I teach and trade only PRB setups, which stands for pre-market range breakout. And in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 examples of A+ PRB setups and explain each of them in depth on why they're A+. And hopefully that's going to cause your brain to get that repetition so you can start seeing these in live time yourself. Because when I tell you that these are good setups, these are good setups and are easily the highest win rate strategy setups in the whole entire market. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, now let's go ahead and start with this setup right here that we took on PLTR, me and my Discord. So obviously you can see this range right here, but this range is not just because of this range inside of pre-market. All right, let's just go ahead and draw a line in this range and see why we're rejecting there. Okay, we can go see that we rejected here. Okay, inside of pre-market, rejected here and rejected here and held this as consolidation. So this is a psychological level. Okay, the more touch points, the better. We can go on higher time frames and we can see how the stock rejects off of this level and holds as resistance. Okay, as you guys can see, 3 touch points, and then we go do it again inside of pre-market, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for this stock to break out. What happened when we broke out, guys? A 5-minute momentum candle broke out to the upside. And key thing, guys, always wait for the 5-minute candle to close. Okay, see how that candle closed? So many times I'll see a huge wick up and then we'll go right back down and just go right back under the resistance level. So wait for that candle to close, and right as that candle closed, guys, I entered into that position and we secured around a 50% gain on those contracts, me and my Discord. So the more touch points, the better. The bigger the psychological level, the better. So that is why this was an A+ trade setup. We had about 3 touch points, and then the 4th one was right before market open. Boom, right here. Formed this beautiful range right below this level, and then we broke out of it. And also what makes this an A+ setup is this is SPY right here. Okay, and what is the first candle doing at market open? First 5-minute candle at market open doing? Look at this candle down to the downside. Okay, PLTR mooning to the upside. Okay, this is why it's an A+ setup. Okay, let's look at the next one. This is a setup on PLTR actually at the start of the week that we did not trade. I was actually in my watch list and I was looking for the stock to break out, but we got into a trade before we could have gotten into this, which was actually a pretty good trade. But as you guys can see here, PLTR, why I didn't get into this trade was because of this wick up, and we did not close above this psychological level here. Okay, but eventually we did close above this level. I'm sure a bunch of you guys took this setup, but I did not because I got into something else. And as you guys know, I only trade 1 time a day. Okay, let me show you guys exactly where the psychological level came from. Okay, as you guys can see, we have a touch point here inside of pre-market, but why would this happen? Okay, it's because in the previous day, look at this, guys. I'll put 2 circles around it. Look at where we reject off this level. We can see it again. We went up to this level, rejected. We didn't get all the way to the line, but it just shows how many sellers are in that area, holding the stock, not letting the stock pass that level. Okay, as soon as we break out of that level, guys, just expect a pop. Okay, as you can see, the sellers took control here on this wick. That's why I didn't get in. But when the sellers broke out of there, or when the buyers broke out of it, it's just guaranteed a pop. And what happened? We moved to the upside. These contracts went over 100%. We didn't get into this trade, but it was all right. All right, let's check out another setup. This is a setup we took on Intel. These actually went over 150%. I called this out in my Discord. As you guys can see here, just a nice range forming inside of pre-market on Intel right here, guys. Just absolutely beautiful. And this stock was also bullish, guys, just like the PLTR example. We're making a huge candle breaking out of the psychological level on the 5-minute chart with a momentum candle, and then while the S&P 500 is just going to the dirt. Okay, it's really this simple. These stocks are supposed to be correlated, but they weren't today, meaning that this stock was an outlier stock. Okay, and why did we not get stopped out on this position? Even though it went down to here, why did I didn't close this position? Why did I not close this position? I told you guys if we were to hold the 9 EMA, we wouldn't sell this position. Okay, after a 5-minute candle breaks out like this, it's almost guaranteed that we're just going to keep on holding the 9 EMA and going up. Okay, as soon as we close below the 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart, we can go ahead and sell. Okay, it's really that simple. But as you guys can see here, we held the 9 EMA, and I actually doubled down when we went to the 9 EMA. That's how confident I was on the setup. And then we went down to 9 EMA again, and we just kept on bouncing off of the 9 EMA until we eventually closed below the 9 EMA. Then what happened? Back down to a downtrend. All right, now this is another setup we took on Intel, guys. Here's another example. Like, you gotta wait for that 5-minute candle to close. You understand? Even though the candle closed like so high up here, guys, it doesn't really matter. We still banked off of this trade. Okay, but why do we bank off this trade? Okay, we're currently inside of a downtrend, inside of pre-market. Boom. Here's a high, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower high. Okay, I draw a trend line. And then where do we consolidate? Inside of pre-market right here. Look at this, guys. Look how we consolidate in this level. I wonder why we're consolidating in that level. I'm going to put a line right here. Oh, look at this. Look at how many times the stock rejects off of this level right here, guys. It's really simple. It's really simple here. Just look at all of the price action inside this level. Okay, that's exactly why we're consolidating in this level again. Okay, now when we see a 5-minute candle break out of this level, when all of those sellers just get swept, we're entering into the position and we're guaranteed a pop. Okay, this pop was greater than I expected, but we still entered in after that 5-minute candle closed. And what happened when that 5-minute candle closed? We just kept on going up, and we put our stop loss really tight, because usually after a 5-minute candle closes above a psychological level like this, we're almost guaranteed to keep on going up. But if we don't keep on going up, we're just going to be stopped out for a small loss, and then that means that the momentum candle was invalid. Do you guys understand? So yeah, this was an A+ straight setup. We almost fully scaled out of this position, and we ended up selling our runners around here when we closed below the 90 MA, securing around a 50% profit. All right, the last one is going to be a short setup for the PRB. I rarely take shorts, but this one is just absolutely so clean. So as you guys can see, we are currently in a downtrend, okay? But here's the problem with this, guys. We have the S&P 500 absolutely mooning inside of pre-market on this day, okay? And then we're in a downtrend inside of pre-market, okay? So there's obviously a problem here, okay? And now we see a huge wick up, a bunch of manipulation, liquidity sweep here. As you guys can see, look at this 5-minute candle just absolutely mooning to the upside. If you guys were entering in when we went up to here, like you're FOMOing out, you definitely have to wait for that 5-minute candle to close, guys. Okay, what I was looking for is for us to break below this range right here inside of pre-market, okay? And what did we do, guys? We ended up closing below here right before market open, but you want to wait for a market open candle to close below there, okay? So even though these were green candles, I'm looking for a momentum candle to close below, guys. So this didn't count. You could have entered in on this, but that's low probability, okay? You want to wait for a high probability setup, which is a momentum candle, a big body and a little wick. Okay, once you do that, you can put your stop loss above the range inside of pre-market. What happened? We didn't even get close to there. Okay, boom, we went down, even lower to here, sold most left runners, guys. We scale out of this position, and even if we fake out, which we didn't do, we kept on going lower, we scaled out of this position, guys. It's really simple on these puts, guys. This strategy works with calls and it works with puts. So go ahead and check out my free Discord where I trade live completely for free. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Peace, peace, peace.